Digital photography made simple.
Hello again and welcome back to D1to1. Our segment today is about the iPhone and how to use its photographic capabilities. The biggest misconception about the iPhone is that many don't see the iPhone as a real camera. However, the iPhone is very capable of taking great 4x6 images like any other point-and-shoot camera. Now, can we take an image that we shot with our iPhone and enlarge it? Yes, we can, but we will lose some detail in the process. But the convenience and the quality we get with a 4x6 print is why this marriage of iPhone and camera have become an accepted technology. Now, we have some samples that we shot with our iPhone, and we're also going to show you some compared side-by-side samples to our point-and-shoot camera. First, we had to find the closest camera setting on our point-and-shoot camera that enabled us to take a shot that looked similar to the iPhone. And the superfine JPEG with a medium resolution was our best match.
Now that you've seen that the iPhone is capable of taking good 4x6 prints, let's get started by showing you how to take pictures with the iPhone. First, let's get used to some of the buttons on the iPhone so you know which one to press, and then I'm going to show you some simple tips to make your photographs look better. Now let me show you how to take a photograph with the iPhone. This is our main screen of the iPhone, and the two buttons that we need to be concerned with, one looks like a lens, it's called camera, and the other one has a daisy and it says photos. That's where the photographs go after we take the picture. Now let's go to the lens button to take a photograph. Now this is a live view of our subject. The two buttons that we need to be concerned with are our shutter button and our folder, which is where the photograph is going to go in after we take the photograph. Now let's take a photograph of that subject right now. And as you can see, our image went into our folder and went back to a live view of our subject. Here we're ready to take another photograph. Let's take another shot. Now that we take those photographs, let's take a look at where they are in our folder. Let's press our folder button. And we can see that it takes us to the very last photograph that we took. In order to get to our folder to see everything, we press camera roll. And you can see now that's in our folder, and those are the last two photographs we took. Now to get out of our camera roll, we hit done on the top here, and we're ready to take another photograph. Now let's go back into the folder button and show you what some of the other buttons do. Now we're going to show you some other buttons on this screen. On the right bottom, you can see that there is a trash can. That's exactly where, if you want to trash one of your photos, you hit trash. It'll come up with a screen that says delete photo, hit delete photo, and it'll go right into the trash. There are two buttons at the bottoms that are arrows that help our images move forward or backwards. Now, the reason one of the arrows is grayed out is because it's the last image in our roll. Now let's move it forward. Let's move it back to our image. Just like the arrows, you can use our fingers to actually go back into our folder, different images, or go forward back to our last image that we had. Now the button at the bottom here with the arrow lets you use your photograph in different ways. Let's press it and see what it does. As you can see, it gives you three ways to use your photograph: to email the photo to one of your friends or family, to assign to a contact to a phone number, or to use it as a wallpaper. Now let's go back to our camera roll. Takes us back to where all our photos are in that folder. And there's one other box that was similar to the other one with the arrow coming out of it. Let's press that, and you can see three boxes open up, three functions. And the first one is pretty self-explanatory. We press one of the images, and we could actually delete. We could actually copy, that's put it in an email or a text, or share our photos. This section of the iPhone, we could actually choose multiple images to basically share, copy, or delete. So let's do the first function, which is share. Let's hit the last two images. Let's hit share, and you can see that we could email those two last images to anyone we want. Our second button, which is copy, we can actually copy these two images that we just used to a text or an email. And our last button, which is delete, we can now choose multiple images to delete. As you can see, I have two images checked, and it says two images to be deleted. Here we can do as many as we like. Now let's take your iPhone off the stand and physically show you how to take a photograph. Now I'm going to go over a few tips to help you take better photographs with your iPhone. The first tip is to make sure that you keep your iPhone as level and as steady as possible. That's the number one reason why most photographs are either soft or out of focus, is because they're not keeping it level or straight while they're pressing the shutter. Second one is to make sure that you do not have your fingers in front of the lens, which is at the very top. I suggest you hold the camera at the bottom instead of the top. This way you don't put your hands in front of the lens and have your fingers in the picture. And the third tip is don't forget about framing. Remember, you have a horizontal plane and a vertical plane of framing your images. A rule of thumb is if you're taking a group shot, take it horizontal, fill that frame up. But if you're taking one person, make sure you turn it around and take it vertically. This way you could also fill that frame, and this way you have the best possible framing when you take those great shots. Now we're going to talk about how the iPhone sees light, because we need good light to take good photographs. We're also going to discuss what is good light and what is bad light when we're photographing with the iPhone. Now the type of light that the iPhone is best in is when we have a full frontal lighted, or our subject like we have right here, we have nice light right around my face. This type of lighting will help the iPhone take a great shot. But if that lighting was behind me, we would have my face silhouetted, and the iPhone doesn't handle that kind of lighting very well. Take a look at these samples to show you exactly how I mean. Another lighting situation is low light conditions, just like we have here. It would be very difficult for the iPhone to take this particular shot because, as we said, we need good light. So when you have a low light condition, make sure that your subject gets close enough so the iPhone will be able to take a good photograph. Now, to avoid this low light situation, just get your subject as close as possible to the light source. This way you have a more even tone and well-lit subject. Take a look at a sample to show you exactly what we mean. Now the reason we show you a different lighting situation when using an iPhone is because with conventional cameras we have a little bit more sophisticated metering system. But on the iPhone it's a pretty simple average metering, and that's why the iPhone is truly a point and shoot camera.